Hello, everybody. It's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. This time I'm reviewing Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja. Yeah, Caveman Ninja. That's right. I'm being serious. This was published by Microids and developed by Mr. Nuts Studio. Once again, I'm not kidding. And this was released on December 1st of 2022 on just about every system and is considered a, quote, spiritual remake of the original Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja, which I think is well over 20 years old at this point and was made by Data East. Now, what exactly, get into this? Well, here's a little backstory. Where you journey back into the distant past when rock and roll was just about rocks and fast food was a dinner that you couldn't catch. Two cave dudes named Joe and Mac live in a peaceful and cool village. Cool it was until a bogus bunch of Neanderthals snatched all the village women. So now it's up to Joe and Mac to save them all and fight against deadly dinosaurs and carnivorous plants in this crazy and colorful action platformer from the Jurassic times. With completely redesigned graphics, the HD version of this famous arcade game is still fun and quirky, but also longer, better, faster, and stronger. Now, the one thing I will have to say about it is they did add some new features to it. First of all is the graphics, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it has two different game modes that you can play right from the start of the menu. The arcade mode, which is a remake, and the extended mode that makes the game even longer. Now, you can play this in co-op, but I didn't notice that you could do it online. It seems to be local couch co-op, which, once again, is kind of disappointing. Now, you also have a training mode, a boss rush mode, a score attack mode, and a speedrun mode. Now, that's all great and everything, but hands down, the original game wasn't this difficult, and I couldn't really figure out why at first until I went back and actually played the original. And I can tell you what right now the reason why is there's something off about the controls of this game. This game is insanely difficult, and it's mainly because every single thing that touches you hurts you. And that's of course also with the fact that as you progress, the longer you move around, the more hungry you get, and the more life that you lose. So you have to constantly keep defeating enemies to get the food that they drop to eat to get your life back, while fighting off these waves of enemies. And the thing is most of them are not that difficult to kill, but your weapons, actually, depending on which ones you get, can actually make it so much easier or so much harder. You get everything from like being able to throw flames to your classic tomahawk. But by far the best, I think, has to be the wheel. And you can hold down your button and do a super move that you can actually throw a super-sized version of whatever weapon you have. And that's all great and everything, but there's just something off about this. Honestly, once again, visually, it is very, very good looking, though I have to say, to me, it looks like a Flash game, if you know what I mean. The graphics and the animation, it's good, but to me, it just seems like it's a Flash game. And, I mean, it doesn't really destroy the overall game and the playability of it, but this game is just too difficult. And I blame the fact of the difficulty on the fact of the way you control it. The original one back on Nintendo played a lot better than this. It was a lot more fast and fluid with the control, and this one comes off being on the end of the floaty spectrum. I mean, the way Joe and Mac, which they're virtually identical characters, neither of them have any sort of special moveset or anything. It's just something about it seemed very clunky to control the characters. From being able to do the super jump by actually pressing up while you jump to do a super jump, along with holding the button down to charge up your attack to make a super attack. That's really it. You just have like one button to jump, one button to do your attack, and you would think that it wouldn't be this difficult with just two buttons, but there's just something about it. The difficulty is off. And like I said, I think it's way more difficult than the original. And the fact is, the matter is, the control is off. If it wasn't so floaty and just didn't feel right to me playing it. And of course, playing through the game as well, it does have it to where you only have a certain amount of continues before the game's over and you got to start over. It does have the branching story. I mean, the branching paths, not much of a story. It's just some guys steal your chicks at the beginning. But it does have some branching paths, but it's overly not that long of a game, really. I think the game itself, if you know what you're doing and you go through it, it only takes about maybe an hour or probably even less if you're super fast at it, because it's not that big of a game. But it's one of those games, almost like Back to the Future 3 on Sega Genesis is a good way to describe this game. And what I mean by that is that game had 3 levels in it, okay? The whole game was 3 levels long. But the reason why it was so long is each level was so hard, it was next to impossible to beat. This, it's totally possible to beat it. I mean, honestly, as long as you're really good and you know what weapon you have and you're constantly killing enemies, collecting the food to keep your health up, and you know how to fight the bosses, it's actually totally playable. So it's nothing that's like insanely difficult, but the difficulty isn't, it's not a fun game to play. The original game is actually fun to play, and this one kind of felt like a slog. And don't get me wrong, you can have much pretty graphics on any game, but graphics don't make a game. The thing that makes the game the best is gameplay. And I have to say, all things aside, if the controls on this didn't feel so off and the difficulty wasn't so high, like maybe if they added a difficulty adjustment, I think it would be a much better game. And considering the co-op is only local co-op and you can't do it online, that's kind of disappointing as well. And keep in mind, the game is only $30. Even on PS5, it's only $30. So it's not a full price game. So it's not that bad. But honestly, I just have to say, I think that graphics are really nice up there. The animation seems off, though. Like I said, it comes off like flash animation. And that kind of bothered me, but the visual fidelity of it was nice enough to where I got past that. But the controls, like I said, the controls are just floaty and off. They're not buttoned down properly. And really, for a game that is over 20 years old, and this is the, quote, remake they came out with, I would have to say this is a disappointment. It really is. Is it a bad game? It's borderline bad. It's playable. It looks nice. But honestly, if you're a fan of the Joe and Mac series of Caveman Ninja, just go back and play the original one. It's so much better. Yeah, visually it's nowhere near as striking. There's no doubt about that. This one visually is really nice looking. But in the end, I've said this many times, and I'll say many times again, graphics don't make a game. Gameplay does. And in the gameplay route, this one just feels off. It does not feel right. They didn't get the control right. And in the end, I think that that's a big detriment to this game, and it makes it to where I cannot recommend it. I still say without a shadow of a doubt, just pick up and play the original one. It's far better. It plays so much better than this. And in the end, you know, I don't mind remakes or remasters of old games when done right. And I just don't feel this one was done right. But in the end, that's only my personal opinion on this title. Please leave in the comments below what you think about it. If you played Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja, the remake, what do you think of it? Do you think it's better? Do you think I'm wrong with my review on this? I mean, it's just my opinion, but I just don't know, because I played the original one and it just seems funner than this. And that's kind of odd to say, especially when it's a remake. But in the end, that's just only my personal opinion. Please leave yours in the comment below. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel. And remember, here at Devil Dog Gaming, we always end our videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.